Hey everybody, KC0VI Tom, along with Mr. Duke. You tired? He's had a big week. He had a spa day and they kind of trimmed the hair on his paws a little too close than he liked. He's been licking them, so it's been an ongoing battle. He's developed a hot spot on one of them, trying to keep him from not to licking it. We tried the little mittens, we tried that stretchy vet wrap, and it's just an ongoing battle between dad and pup, right? Anyway, hey, don't do that. We got some exciting news here we're going to talk about. You're going to make a little bed? Okay. Last time we were talking about how Metro County Conservation Corps is trying to get the camps open for the first weekend in May. And they did get Riverside Park open up in Stacyville, Cedar Bridge over by Osage. And they also got Halverson open here in St. Ansgar and Pioneer Park open. That's kind of out in the middle. I've never been there yet and I still can't find it. It's just kind of in between a few places out there. Nice little park. It's not very... What are you doing? Again, cheap dog. Will deliver. And the crew really worked hard and got those 4 parks open. That just leaves Interstate Park, and it sounds like they're going to have that open for the second weekend, hopefully, if everything goes good. The remember Otranto Park is closed for the season for its refresh, and that'll be open next spring. So it's the start of camping season. So the next couple of videos are mainly going to be for campers here. Ham radio guys, just sit back. A lot of them cross over. And this is mainly going to be for our newbies in camping, or if you have a new rig to you. Doesn't matter if it's brand new or used, it's new to you. If you're our newbies on board, hopefully you got a nice rig. I'm surprised the number of people I've talked to at campgrounds who bought a camper, not because that's what they really wanted, but it was the best thing they could find at the dealership. And you just got to keep looking around. You'll find that rig that you like. Just keep hunting around for it. So, don't settle for second best when, you're going to be living with it for a while. I've been told on average, most people will trade rigs every 8 to 10 years. And I know people that trade every 2 years till they find that perfect one. I had that Class C for almost 10 years, and now we're in the little Pooh here, or little Tigger. Pooh is the big Class C. And I know people are in 22 years in their Class C, and now they're just starting to look around a little bit. They want more modernize it. So, again, first timers out, always do that first camping in your driveway. We talked about check sheets a while ago. One for what you normally keep in your camper. And when you're camping in your driveway, have your scratch pad handy. So if there's something you forgot to put on your check sheet or forgot to pack, write it down so make sure it gets in there for the next camping trip. Then the second one, if you feel comfortable enough, find a campground fairly close. So in case you do forget something that it needs, it's really important, you can run back to the house and get it, or go to a store and buy it, what it is. And then after that one, you're off for the big world and go have fun. What we're going to talk about today is how I go through the planning stages and getting ready to go. Then we'll have another video out in a week or so about setting up your campsite. Then after that, we'll have one on tear down and unpacking when you get back to the back home. Then towards the end, we'll do a campground etiquette. That is going to be a real important one. Doesn't matter how many times I've explained to people, when you go to a campground, treat everybody with respect. You be treated with respect. But there's, I've always been told there's always one jerk in every campground. If it's not the person on one side of you or the other side of you or the guy across the road, it could be you, and you don't want to be that person. So what I like to do is we'll grab our little check sheet here and run through it. When we decide we're going to go camping, usually a couple days before we're going to go camping, I always like to go out to the camper, open up the refrigerator. Usually it's propped open a little bit so it doesn't get mold in there. Wipe it down on the inside and start it up. Now it's going to take anywhere from a day to 3 days depending on the temperature inside the camper to get to your set point. You have the old absorption style refrigeration system or the newer 12-volt compressor style. So it's going to take a little bit. So that's why I always like to do it a couple days ahead of time. And if you don't have one of these infrared temperature probes. Pick one up. You can buy those fairly, under $10 at the big box store, and have that handy. I usually leave mine on the counter when I get up and going on the refrigerator. Then I'll go and work on the water tank and treat the black and the gray tank. What I normally do for the water tank is I'll hook the hose up through the water filter and start filling the fresh water tank, and I'll have the drain plug open on that water tank so it's actually flushing out a little bit of water. We're going to flush out the system. Once you get some water in there, we can run the water pump. I'll fire up the water pump and go around and open up each spigot for a good minute. That way it's going to make sure we flush out the water line. Big thing we're doing is flushing out the line from the water pump, from the tank to the pump, and from the pump to the lines to the faucet. Once we got all the faucets flushed out, I'll shut down the pump and allow the system to fill the water tank up. Put the plug in the tank so it's no longer draining. Then I'll move the water line from the tank fill over to the city connection. And that's going to give us more flow to the system. Then I'll go through and open up all the spigots in the camper, flush the toilet a couple times, so we're making sure we're going to flush out all that water that was left behind by accident. When you're done camping, you always want to drain your freshwater tank and open up your low points. I always open up the faucet on the far end of the system, get air to get behind the water so the water drains out. If you get all the water out or most of the water out, you won't have a problem with foul tasting water, because there's no water left in the system to go bad to contaminate the system. This way, I've never had to shock my system with bleach. I've heard horror stories from people that said they got to do it like every other time they go camping. And talking to them, they never dropped the water tank. They never depressurized and drained the lines out. The water just left in there from their camping. No wonder it tastes bad. They got to shock it. So what we'll go through is we'll make sure we got the water tanks full. We black tanks and gray tanks are rinsed a little bit. Treatment's added to the black tank, so that start up. If this is your first camping trip of the season or the last camping trip of the season, what I do on the black and the gray tank is I'll fill them 3/4 full. Then when we get to the campgrounds, if it's a campground with full connections, I'll go to my site and drop the 2 tanks. If it's not a full connection, a full hookup, I'll go to the dump station, dump my black tank and the gray tank, then go to my spot. That way, going down the road and that water in the tanks are agitating, it'll knock off some of that loose stuff or anything that's stuck on the inside of your 2 tanks. Very seldom do I have a problem with anything sticking to the sensors. My sensors work fairly good. Every once in a while I get a stray reading, but add a little more water to it and let it slosh around before I dump the tank seems to take care of it. So what we'll do here, the next item is we're going to pack the food. To do that, what we need to do, let's see if we can slide this out of the way. Okay, we're going to, for our example here, we're going to show up Saturday, and we're going to need lunch and supper and something around the campfire. And Sunday morning, we're going to need breakfast and a lunch, and we'll go from there. Camping, what I like to have for lunch is burgers. So I'll grab a couple burger patties, some cheese, buns, ketchup. Usually for a side dish, I like to grab some of that coleslaw or potato salad, depending on what the deli section of the local grocery store has on sale. A lot of times they'll have a special going on where you buy 1 pint and get your second pint of your potato salad or your coleslaw half price. So we're looking at like coleslaw or potato salad. Local grocery store handles the Mrs. Jerry's line, which is pretty good. Now we're going to need milk. And for supper, we'll throw a steak on the grill. Along with, we'll finish off, or we'll have some more of that coleslaw or the potato salad, whatever we got. Make sure we have our milk. And we'll go from there on that one. Around the campfire, it's kind of nice to have like a trail mix. Something to munch on. Oh, and the important thing for the afternoon and around the campfire, some type of adult beverage. Usually the type that comes in the 12 to 30 pack range. The and again, for the afternoon, we should have some type of snacks. So make sure we'll have some snacks along. 1 or 2 bags of chips, maybe some, again, trail mix for also in there. So look for a couple bags of chips, something like that. Look around the store, see if there's, what tastes good. So on breakfast, I'm not a real big breakfast person, so I'll probably have coffee along with some Pop-Tarts or something related to the Pop-Tart family. Lunch, well, again, we'll have some burgers, cheese, buns. We'll finish off that coleslaw or potato salad, and again, milk. So what we're looking at here, definitely we're going to need, and I like to get my hamburger, usually I buy one of those tubes that have patties pre-made up. Depending on who you buy it from, it could be 18 to 20 patties. A lot of times they're a third of a pound of meat per patty. And when you run the price per patty or per pound, it really breaks it down. It's about even almost equal to what it is if you just bought the 1 pound unit of hamburger. So we're gonna have to make sure we got some burgers, probably some buns, cheese, probably a quart of milk, chips, trail mix, and adult beverage. And that should close off our camping trip. Usually we keep coffee. Oh, Pop-Tarts. Usually I keep a little stock of coffee and the filters in the camper as part of my normal setup. So that's going to be what we're going to need for grocery shopping. Then the next item on our list is clothing. How we're going to pack our clothing. So again, just grab a little sheet of paper and just kind of plan this out. You do this a couple times, you kind of understand what you're going to need. And even though I've done this quite a few times camping, I always like to kind of jot down, make a little list like this. Then I use my little cheat sheet here to check off, make sure I have everything. So on Saturday, then we got Sunday. I'll probably show up in a t-shirt with jeans. I'll have a pair of tennis shoes on. And go from there. So later on that day, I may want to bring in a pair of shorts in case it does get warmer. I can switch from long pants to jeans or a sweatshirt. If it does get a little cold, I can get into a sweatshirt. Make sure you grab a hoodie for around the campfire that night. I always like to have an extra pair of shoes. Normally I have the shoes I have on along with a pair of flip-flops around the campsite. The next pair of shoes in case the first pair of shoes gets wet. It wouldn't be this early in the springtime. You may want to throw a light coat just to hang up either in the car or in the camper so in case it does get really chilly in the morning. Then I got like a little sweatsuit outfit, sweatpants and a sweatshirt. I have next to the bed. Usually I wear the pants when I go to I'm sleeping. If Duke needs to go outside, I just throw on the sweatshirt and go out there with them and get back in. That's kind of nice when I have my flip-flops. I can flip those on real fast, get out there, kick them off, and get back inside. And the most important thing is, a couple extra pairs of socks, so we don't have to go extra socks, along with some tidy whities. You always want to make sure you have a couple extra tidy whities along just in case you have an accident and you ruin a pair. That's why they call it an accident. So that's going to give me the clothes I come in with, complete change of outfit in case I have to for some reason. I got something to sleep in, extra socks in case I get my feet wet. Then I'll probably leave, have an extra pair of jeans for Sunday when I leave, along with a shirt, clean shirt, probably a t-shirt, along that line. So like I said, this will all start a day or two before we're going to go camping. That gives the refrigerator time to cool down. And I'll check it once in a while with that infrared gun, make sure it is getting down. And make sure take your time, get everything packed up. Now the day we're going to leave, go around, make sure the rest of the stuff is packed in there. Make sure you got your camping chairs, anything you need for a fire pit, your roll-out rug, your small rug by the door, Any utensils, your plates inside, your cups, just eyeball those, make sure they got put back in after they got cleaned up. Items for your pets. If you bring in your dog along, like Duke be with me, well, you want to make sure we got, usually I bring his bowls, dump out the water, put the food in a Ziploc bag. When we get there, I'll fill the water dish up and put the food in the dish. There's always power there, always food there to work on. I saw power next item down. Then I'll disconnect the power, wrap up the cord, and hook the trailer up to the Bronco, the truck. Plug in the electrical cord, make sure I got the safety chains on, the brake cable, get it all hooked up. Walk around the rig, make sure all the doors are closed, the tires look inflated, have the lights going so you make sure all your lights are working. Again, double check, make sure all your storage doors and your camper doors are locked. One thing I do before we take off is check the route to the road. Now going to Howerson is just down T26, but if you're going for 20-30 miles out, get on the local Iowa DOT or the Minnesota DOT or Wisconsin DOT or your state DOT, and they'll have a construction website so you have an idea what type of construction is going on in your area. Then the last time is like herding cats. Load your crew, get everybody in there, and once I get them all in there, I also make another walk around. Just look at everything, make sure the outriggers are up, the steps are in, all the doors are nice and locked and closed, window shades. I like to travel with the window shades on the camper down, and then we're off to the campground. Well, that's about it in a nutshell. Me and Duke are going to take a good look at the calendar and see when we can get out to get our camping. We still got to get him out. He's been out once, and he didn't have a very good experience on the second time out. We got a little sick. Don't know what you got into. But on that, start of the camping season. Hope everybody has a good time camping. You know where you're going for a good vacation, put it down in the comment section. We'll see where everybody's going. 7th year, everybody. Take care. Be sure to tell your friends, neighbors, other hams. Subscribe, hit that bell to get notification when new videos come out. Add comments below. 7th year, everybody.